Yeah. And then I went back to France. Everything was okay, because I got rid of him, but I thought I got rid of him. When I went back to France, um, then I started having dreams, and someone in my dream, normally when I dream, I just dream white. I don't really remember, but I started to see dreams with a man looking like my brother talking to me, someone else trying to marry me in my dreams, or taking the face of my dad, like many different faces, and this man trying to approach me in my dream to go close to me. And my soul, my spirit would tell me, this is not okay. This is not your dad. This is not your brother. This is not okay. Get like stand back. Stand back. My brain was sending me strong messages like, girl, stand back. This is not what you think it is. And then slowly, slowly, when I wake up, I would see him next to me. Like I would wake up and I would see his face like next to me, like he slept next to me. Then I was freaked out. Oh, I don't. This also still triggers me. But I hate him so much, he's not ever gonna come back because I killed him. So I would keep seeing him in my dreams, and he would take any shape possible to go close to me and to have an affectionate relation with me in the dream. And I would not let him. My body was like, no, no, and no. You will not touch me. You will not come close to me. This is not okay. So he would try to take every shape and the body of an animal and the legs of an animal. It was terrible. So I was terrified at this point, and I told my dad, like, okay, we need to see a priest. I don't know, we need to see an exorcist, anything, because what I'm seeing at night, I'm tired, I don't sleep, I'm tired in school, I'm scared to go to my bed, I'm scared to sleep, I don't want to see this thing. And then this thing also wanted to marry me. He made it very clear in the dreams. So when I saw the priest, he did all that exorcist stuff, and he told me, you really don't have anything, like you're not possessed or anything, but he's trying to get into you and you don't let him. So girl, you have to be strong. And he told me, you have to be strong and you have to trust in your own strength, not just God but also in yourself, and you can kill him if you have the strength to do so. Don't be afraid of him. You are stronger than him. If already you can stop him, you can kill him. And I took these words and I was like, okay, let's see what I can do. Since nobody can do anything, it's gonna be me or him. So now it's war. So I started to look, everywhere in the different religions, the ways to, just literally eradicate them and what they hate. So I would get ready to sleep like I would get ready to go to war. I would prepare myself before sleep and tell myself, okay, girl, you're gonna do this, 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 and this. So be prepared to enter the dream because you only have a few hours. You must hit it. So I would look for him and I would start to see doors, like doors that I would open. Sometimes I would see him, sometimes I would not. And he was very smart because he would take, the faces of people I know in real life, faces with what I would be comfortable in my dream. So it was a lot of work, and I was conscious in my dream, like chasing him and like, I will find you. And every time I would see him, I would read my verses and I would tell him strong, like straight in his ugly eyes, God is great, God is great, God is great, non-stop until he get tired and he was like, leave me alone, and he leaves, and then I wake up. Until one day, to make it short because this is long, until one day I opened the door in my dream. It was a forest and he was there, and I don't know by what magic he was afraid of me, and I sit over him and I had a knife and I literally cut his throat and I stabbed him almost 100 times. I'm in the forest entirely bloody. There was blood everywhere. I could even feel it on my hands, like blood everywhere. And I would keep stabbing him, like stab, stab, stab. For all the pain you give me, all the all the fear you give me, everything that you give me, all the tiredness you give me, like, you're gonna die, my boy. It's your day now. So I killed him, and when I woke up, my body had, this sensation where a big wave has been lifted from my shoulders, and I've never seen him again. And when I talked to my dad and the priest, they told me, you killed him. He's not ever gonna come back. He's dead. And
Okay,
that's it.
and
And from
now
that,
I wanna sit away from Bali real quick because I'm scared.
It's
I
so
told you,
scary.
for us Middle Eastern Africans, the zodiac things in tarot, this is nothing. This is soft, very soft. Like there's some scary stuff.
I was gonna say I certainly do. I think Katie though. Katie, did you have anything?
I mean, I really don't. I mean, I am, I am a lover of these type of things and I'm fascinated by it. I just don't have any experience, like personal experience.
So, when I was younger, I was probably, let's see, about 9 or 10. I have dealt with weird things pretty much my entire life: anxiety, depression, ADHD, and at that time, I was not diagnosed with anything. I just thought that this was the way of things. There was a period in my life for about 1 to 2 months where I had some really, really terrible insomnia. Because every time I closed my eyes, it would literally be like 15, 20 minutes. I could sense everything around me. So I'm sitting there in the dark, and it's a bunk bed of all things. So my older sister's on top. But I would close my eyes and I would feel my body descend into the earth, like as though my bed were on an elevator that were descending. And the horrible thing here is because, again, this is when I was younger. I didn't know a lot about my faith. I pretty much everything I knew about Christianity here I had learned from like TV shows like Full House and The Simpsons and all that stuff. I would feel my entire body descend slowly into hell. And I would be in bed, I would have covers on me, and I remember having to stay absolutely still because I could feel the eyes of people watching me. Like they were going about their business, inspecting things. I could almost sense them. I could taste the air. It was 100% real. And it was absolutely fucking terrifying because I'm sitting there and I have to do everything I can to keep my body still. If I start to move, if I cough, if I do anything here, then I will, alert them to the fact that I'm conscious and awake and not asleep. Because if they caught me being, in my mind here, if they had caught me being awake, then I would be tortured. And as I'm sitting there here, like images would flash through my head, these horrifying images of like, and again, keep in mind here, like I didn't know much about my faith back then, so I would see these images here of like Jesus bloody in the face with thorns going through his skin and like eyes bulging out of flesh. Like, and it would just continuously play on this loop until I, would finally, like, I just had to keep myself completely still. And then I would finally slowly feel the bed raise again.
But that is very terrifying because as someone that was raised Christian, um, my parents, for example, never like forced me to believe anything. They didn't try to scare me with scary stories of the devil's gonna get you, you're gonna go to hell. Absolutely not. My parents have always been they've always had a very healthy obsession with their faith. Um, but throughout my life, especially around like the recent years and more so when I was like a teenager, I would have really bad experiences and dreams of going to hell or the devil. Now, this was very interesting to me because, um, again, trigger warning for anyone watching. I put one in the beginning, but still, um, as someone that has also dealt with severe clinical depression and severe suicidal tendencies, I would very frequently dream of the devil in a way that where he was tormenting me and showing me what would happen if I actually did end my own life. And I personally don't believe that people that take their own life go to hell, if there is such a place. But this is what was being shown to me, and this is what I felt in my soul. I want to share a very specific experience where I had a dream, and this has to do with sleep paralysis, but I believe that it wasn't just in my mind, and you'll see why. So, this was like 1 or 2 years ago. I had a dream where I was standing at the rooftop of my old apartment, and it was pitch black outside. And I used to actually do that. I used to go up there whenever I was feeling really bad or really depressed, and I would just sit there and listen to music. And in my dream, I was standing there by myself until it suddenly turned pitch black, and then I saw these people around me. Now, people were standing in line to jump off the roof of the apartment, and I stood in line with them, and surely I killed myself by jumping to my death. Now, as I was jumping down, I suddenly saw the ground open up, and I could see into hell. It looked very stereotypical, very fiery, yada yada yada. And I fell straight into hell along with the other people that managed to end their own lives at the same time as me. But I didn't feel any pain, and I wasn't tortured. And whilst I did see the devil at that time, he didn't speak to me. No, nothing happened in terms of torture. However, the form of torture that would happen in there was my own thoughts, and those were constant reminders that I ended my own life, and I was very young, that is, and I would feel very regretful, and I would mourn my own death, and I would be very worried about my parents. How are my parents feeling about this? Does my mom know? Did they discover my body? How is my mom dealing with this? Because my mom is my best friend, and that was what I was worried about the most. And I remember speaking to the other people that were there, and everyone was just in a constant, repetitive state of grief. I eventually woke up, and I couldn't move. Now, this has happened to me quite a few times. It's not always scary, but I felt someone sit on the bed next to me, and initially I thought it was my dad, because sometimes he would do that to wake me up or to be like, "Oh, breakfast ready," or whatever. But this man cuddled into bed with me, and I was like, "Wait, hold on, like, I'm single, who is this?" So this man spoons me and cuddles me. He starts spooning me and cuddling me, and he starts talking softly into my ear how I deserve to kill myself and that I deserve to go to hell. Um, so I would try my hardest to wake up. I started wiggling my toes and my fingers. I started praying. I would say Bože pomozi, which literally means God help me in Serbian. And I would eventually break out of it.
So he would cuddle
So
you.
funny.
This exists for us, and actually, we say be very careful because the best doors for a spirit to come is from your genitals.
That being said, though, that's fucking creepy. I'm so sorry, especially since it sounds like you were dealing with that at a pretty young age.
I don't know. That's a tough one, because I don't know, it really scares the hell out of me, to be perfectly honest with you. Like with Crimson, like talking about the dream that she was talking about, it made me think about my friend. Like she's like a really good friend in real life. And she we hike together once a week, like we go in the woods and we hike, and so you talk about like a lot of weird stuff when you're hiking in the woods. But she was telling me about how like all these dreams that she had when she was a kid about my friend, she's pretty religious too, about like the end of days, and kind of like as like a little kid how she had all these dreams about how like it was like hell on earth basically. It just made me like Crimson's story kind of made me think about that, and it really freaks me out when she talks about that because like um like I think like I really believe her, like that these dreams felt so real to her, and and it just kind of like the idea of like that becoming reality, and that's what she thinks. She thinks that her dream is going to come true in her lifetime, that we will see at the end of days, in our lifetime, and it's just like I can't even talk about it because it really actually freaks me out legitimately. But I don't have
Aw.
I know. Like, I don't have any like stories. I mean, I have like lots of things that people have told me, in my life, and I pretty much believe them. People, I don't. But it's like it just I've never experienced anything firsthand. So it's